Hey there. So today I'm just going to quickly show you a DIY mill stand that I built for my Monster Mill MM3 Pro malt mill. So I bought everything from Monster directly. I got the three-rotor mill itself. I wound up getting the hopper extension here as well, just because it's nice to be able to fit all of my grain in here, because I do batches anywhere from 5 gallons through 15-gallon batches. And sometimes 10 gallons of imperial beers, so I go through a lot of malt. When I got this, though, the previous mill that I had was a barley crush, and I was just running it with a drill, which felt like an upgrade from the hand crank that was on it. But this is absolutely an upgrade from there, as I did somewhat automated setup here. I actually kind of lucked out because a buddy of mine had this motor here. That he had used, as well as this pulley on a previous malt mill that he had. He wound up going direct drive with his, so he didn't need this anymore. Don't ask me about sizes and stuff like that, because I didn't need to figure it out, but that's easy enough just to Google online to find what you need to do to reduce so you get the right amount of RPMs here for milling. Now, what do I want to show you here? So for the actual stand itself, I wanted this thing really, really sturdy. This thing is built like a freaking tank. I built it out of 2x4s, 2x6s, and MDF board. First thing I did was just actually construct the main stand part. So I just attached these 2x4s together, screwed them into the MDF from below on all 4 corners, and then I built the bottom part. So I had the 2x4s running this way on either side, and then 2x6s running across, and attached those. And then, like you can see here with the screws in the corners through the MDF, that's how I attached the actual main part of the stand here to the base that has the little rollers on it. I just went with little wheels. I kind of wish I went with bigger ones, just because it would be easier to get over, like if there's little rocks or pebbles or whatever here in the garage. But I mean, either way, it rolls pretty smoothly, and I don't have a problem with that. Anyway, I wound up building a little guard here for around the actual pulley system. This is really just because I don't want to lose a finger, and I've got little kids that run around and whatnot. So I threw some plywood on here, and then also around that, just to prevent any sort of injuries. For the actual wiring, I start off here with just an extension cord thing that I picked up at a hardware store, which comes into this junction box. And then I had some of this metal sheathed house wire here, just from a project I was doing, so I went with that on the inside just because, well, it looks cool. I wound up wanting to have some power on this, which is really handy because when I actually mill my grain, I will also plug in just a little air compressor I've got here, because then when I'm done, I just blow everything off with that, and then everything's nice and clean. From there, I wired into a switch to actually turn on the unit. The switch obviously just powers the motor, which turns everything here. So, yeah, in just a second here, I'm actually going to operate this. All right, so I just plugged in here. I'm ready to go. I actually usually mill into one of these plastic wine fermenting buckets. I built this thing to size so it just barely clears this bucket. I push it back till I hit my pulley, and then I just pull it this way about 1 centimeter or so, just so I don't have it running into there. I've got around 15 kilograms of malt here. I'm brewing a pale ale today, so this is a blend of North American, Canadian two-row, some Munich, and some Crystal 40 malt. Now, I'm just going to turn on the mill. I find that if I pour the grain in and then turn it on, sometimes things will get stuck. You'll have just a single grain of malt that'll get wedged in there, and it doesn't have the torque to actually crush through it and get going. So as long as this is turned on before I start to mill, I've experienced 0 problems. So, turn it on, fire in all the malt. as you can see, there's even room for more. I love this hopper extension. It's really handy. So you can see that it is, in fact, milling the grain. Kind of see in there. And it's making short work of it here. I'll, let this go for a little bit. I usually just give it a little tap to help get any stubborn grains down into there. And look at that. There we go. So I mean, that was I'll actually have to check the timer to see exactly how many minutes that was, but it's probably somewhere between about 3 minutes, just over that, to crush all of that malt, which is fantastic. This is reasonably clean, but now, here, hold on. Pass the camera over. I'm gonna just, a lot of the times there's a little bit of dust, as you can see here, stuck on the underside. And just knock that down. Yeah, you can see where that strip of dust was there in the rollers. I'll pull this out. Just brush that stuff into there. I'm gonna grab the lid, toss this on, because I don't need the malt quite yet. Now it's time just to clean this out. One other thing I should mention while I'm grabbing my air hose here is that I also varnished the heck out of this, because you know, you're out here, you're brewing, you've got stuff, there's water, there's beers, whatever, stuff getting set down on this, and I didn't want it to wreck the surface, especially with this MDF, which can be a little bit not too terribly happy when it comes to getting moisture and stuff on it. So, while this thing was plugging away there, I did have my air compressor turned on, charging up. So we'll just clean that out, clean out the pulley. I'll also blast from underneath up into the rollers. Just have to be careful not to lose a hand. Get in the motor. Turn that off there. Just make sure get as much of that grain lift out of here as possible. Prevent rodents from taking an interest in what's going on, and just helping with rusting issues and whatnot, mold, fun stuff like that. Cleaning all the electronics. There it is. I'll just quickly unplug the mill itself, get it wrapped back up. So yeah, like I was saying, I found this was a massive improvement over what I had been doing before. Certainly not an inexpensive option in comparison to some of the other cheaper mills out there, but man, if this isn't a cool toy, I don't know what is. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say about it there, so until next time, keep her at 11.